Yes. So what we do right now, and I don't know if your audience knows, but the immigration system right now with the COVID is changing all the time. Mostly in the past couple of months since the pandemic started, is in continuous changes, and we do visa work. Our specialty is business immigration. We refer here to some of the investor visas, the E2 visas, L1 visa, O1 visa, the EB5 investor visa program. We also do employment based, which are the H1B. Right now, there's a demand for the H2Bs. Um, we also, I mentioned L1 as well, right? L1 as well. And then the general immigration services and visas like B1, B2. With the pandemic, some people found themselves stranded in the United States and couldn't leave, and they were on a tourist visa. Also help them with extension of their status while they are in the United States until they can they can go back. Um, that's really what we do. And we also do applications for citizenships, the more general practice, and family-based green cards. As a law firm, we're more specialized on serving the international clients, but we also serve Florida companies with their visas, including the TN visa, which is for Canada and Mexico for professionals that come out of there. Um, and we, as I said, we really work with companies and entrepreneurs from everywhere in the United States, Florida, and also many other countries as well.
Cool. Well, you heard it, guys. If you guys have a question regarding visas, you could always reach out to Anda, and she'll clear the way.
Thank you
So,
so much. Yes, absolutely.
so the chamber. That's what we're here for, to learn about the wonders of the chamber. Let's dive into the chamber. So how did it come to be? You mentioned, I think, when we first met, that the chamber was part of a larger chamber, and this is a Miami chapter, right? Is that the structure?
So, the Romanian-American Chamber of Commerce, we have here, and um, the one that I'm president of is the Florida chapter. So it's only regional as to Florida. But the Romanian-American Chamber of Commerce has been formed in 1990 by a New York attorney. His name is Mark Meyer, and the headquarters is in New York, and that is the mothership, the mother organization. It's the larger organization, and there are chapters throughout the United States, as I said, including Florida. And at this moment in time, there are about 7 or 8 chapters across the United States. There is a chapter in New York. There is a chapter in Los Angeles. There is another chapter in San Francisco. There is one in Arizona, Cleveland, also Washington. Florida is one of the newer ones. And there is also an international one that's done in a partnership, and the international chapter has come into existence. Sometimes I want to say in the beginning of this year, or sometimes last year. It has been more recent in time since I last seen you. But there is also an international chapter that's established in a partnership with a Romanian organization, and its headquarters of the International Chamber is in Romania. So there is the presence of the Romanian American Chamber also directly in Romania. And I wouldn't be able to say right now to you what city in Romania the
Mm-hmm.
the office is. I don't have that information. So I'm not sure, and I don't want to speak on it if I'm not clear where it is. But there is one as well, and that's a newer project. Then again, since I last seen you. Now the chapter in Florida is also a rather very young chapter. It's been in existence for 2 years. Our launch, when I was initially proposed to work on this project with the Florida chapter, it was the beginning of 2018, February 2018. And of course, after had discussions about what is the work involved, what it would take, how much commitment, and what does it really need, because the Romanian-American Chamber did not have a chapter in Florida, so it was new for at least for me, but it was new for the area. There's not another one in Georgia or in South Carolina. So for the southern of the United States was one of the first time to have this chapter. And at the same time, while we were analyzing the situation as to the chapter formation, and we were in discussion with the national chapter. The Romanian government was in the process of opening the General Consulate of Romania in Miami. At that point in time, in 2018, in the beginning, they were also not open. And somewhere around the summer of 2018, we had a meeting, including by that time, the consulate was approved, the Romanian consulate in Miami was approved. It had a location, but it was not open to the public. The staff was here, the permits or what they need from the local government to operate everything was there. They were in the process of opening up to the public, but they were not opened. We had a meeting with them about that time in the summer. They were planning to launch it by November. We were planning to launch the chapter. We formed a board with initially a board of directors for the chapter, and now we added since then another board member, and I'll speak about that as well. But we moved on with the chapter, and we ultimately had a launch that was at the same time as the General Consulate of Romania in Miami was launching to the public. So we had our launch at the same time as they had their launch, and in retrospect, it's been a very it was a good way to just launch both the chamber. We benefited from having their presence here as the consulate, and having their support as well. And it was at the same time, and I happily always say that I always know how old we are as a chapter, because I can always say how old they are as a chapter. Not as a chapter, as a consulate, because I always remember when they started. That's how I know how old we are, and vice versa. At that time, we also had a partnership with Smart Start USA, and we brought some companies from Romania to Miami. It was a delegation about 30 companies that came in November 2018 to Miami, to South Florida to learn about it. And we had obviously the local partners. Huge thank you to City of Miami, Miami-Dade County, the Office of Economic Development, Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce, Enterprise Florida, everybody, Downtown Development Authority, so many local supporters we had and partners that made the conference such a success, including support from the city of Coral Gables. Just so many of the local institutions came out and were supportive, and it turned out to be a very good event, I would say. I think everybody was very happy with what was accomplished. Um, that was our first launch, they had the first opportunity to come see what we do in terms of events directed towards Romanian companies that are interested in Florida, South Florida, and what they need to learn in order to do business, if that's what they're interested in. How does it work in terms of the airport, the port, and everything locally, licenses, permits, and it's very useful for them to get an intro in how to do business in the United States. But I will go forward and say how to do business in Florida because it's not everywhere is the same at the end of the day. So we had that, and then we also ran another conference and event in March of 2019, so more than a year ago. That was, again, we had another 30 companies coming out of Romania to get an introduction, a 2-day conference with, of course, the support of the Consulate General of Romania in Miami and the support of the local authorities here. The same in Miami, City of Miami, Miami-Dade County, Enterprise Florida, Downtown Development Authority. So much support. If I don't mention everybody and I leave everybody outside, it's not by intention, it's not by design. I want to say thank you to all. Everybody has been so wonderful along and helped these companies learn so much about doing business in Miami. And then we also had networking hour, and that had everybody coming and joining. Actually, other chapters, other bilateral chapters also came out to support the event. And in terms of the Romanian-American Chamber, what is our main goal is really to facilitate and help with the development of bilateral relationships between the United States and Romania. South Florida and Florida, in terms of balance of trade with Romania, we are not the Romanian import-export, and the balance of trade is not really great with South Florida, and we would like to see that very well improved. I believe in the last couple of years, Romania was ranked 98 trade partner with South Florida out of 100 countries. So the position is not in terms of trade between South Florida directly and and Romania is not as good as it can be, and we would like to see that change, and hopefully with our work for the chamber and with small steps go a long way. In the future, we'll see a better trade partner in Romania locally.
Cool. I have a couple of questions from the things you've mentioned. For the first delegation, you mentioned you worked with Smart Start USA.
Yes.
For the ones that don't know what that is, who are they exactly?
Okay, so Smart Start USA, it was a project put together, or it is a project put together by the former Minister of Business and Entrepreneurship of Romania. The former minister's name is Ilan Laufer. he has a project that's dedicated to helping Romanian companies internationalize, and he was the one who initially approached us, and that's how we formed the partnership, really, um, because of his interest in development and entrepreneurship and helping small to mid-sized businesses.
The chamber, in terms of its function, I know you mentioned you bring delegations. That's how we also met when we started interacting with the city. And your first delegation that you brought here, when you had your opening the same day that the Romanian consulate had their opening. I remember that day I went to both events. I went to the I went to the consul generals. Hey, how are you? Doing good. Picture. Thank you for opening your office in the city of Miami. And then being all the way. Luckily, you were doing your event in Brickell too, so I just hopped to the next couple of buildings, and then I went to engage and network with your delegation. So that was fun.
It was interesting, but it was everything was booked. Everybody had the locations and the time and the invitations sent out by the time everybody realized they're in parallel. So you couldn't do much about it at that point. Was you kind of have to go both ways. So
Yeah.
and I was not present, to be honest, at their launch because of that specific issue. Because I had the delegation here and we couldn't leave the delegation, and
Yeah.
it was a mismatch and it was too late to solve the logistics behind it. But
See,
yeah.
but it was fun though. So in terms of the functions, delegations, you mentioned networking.
Yes.
Is there other functions that we should know about the chamber that it does facilitates?
Well, we do also facilitate the direct advice or introductions, in the sense of if somebody contacts us, obviously. And this is on both sides of the equation, meaning the United States or Romania, because we have found US companies actually interested sometimes because they don't know how to navigate. They would look for a connection for Romania and they reach out to us and they say exactly who would they like to be in touch, or who do we, what would they like to do, or where would they like to be, and if we have an organization locally to recommend them or put them in touch with, so they don't feel like they have to shoot in the dark. So we also help with that, with the where to go, and that goes both ways. If they need a recommendation to go to a local partner in Romania, we're happy to facilitate those introductions to be in safe hands, really, as they navigate towards what they want to achieve. And it goes the same way with Romania. Their companies reaching out. When they reach out, we always try to facilitate. They place them in the right direction
Okay.
to say to help them with that. So we do the conferences, we do the seminars, we also do the direct advice and introductions where it's needed. Now, it's, as I said, it's a relatively very young chapter, and we're working on um, on a new project, and I mean projects for 2021, because 2020 we all know how it is and where it all left us. But as a chapter, what I'm very grateful and very happy for is that everybody has come and put their best foot forward. And in 2019, we have started to make steps towards making partnership with the Romanian Chamber, the regional chambers in Romania, directly chambers of commerce in Romania, that are under the Romanian jurisdiction, and private public entities, and they have reached out also to see some partnership going on for their members, and we were in the process of taking the relationship further and having an opportunity to meet, not just communicate officially, but having an opportunity to meet in person. And they were going to take a trip in 2020 um, to meet with us and see what we can do to help companies on both sides of the equation, as they represent the Romanian side, and there are regional chamber of commerces in Romania everywhere, including the National Chamber of Commerce, which the
Okay.
Romanian-American Chamber is a part of. So the Romanian-American Chamber is a member of the Chambers of Commerces in Romania, the national association of them, the national organization, I would say.
Got it.
And they have regional ones, and we've started already a discussion with one of the regional Chamber of Commerce that was very interested in building a relationship with the Romanian American Chamber. And there are meetings scheduled in Miami for 2020. Unfortunately, they are not going to take place. um, but we are happy to see that the work we do is being seen, and there are organizations that are interested in working with us. Um, and now for 2021, because it is what it is, we're in need of board members who want to contribute and want to really share their expertise, because at the end of the day, the expertise and any volunteering time they can put forward is very important to us. And the more diverse the group is, the more diverse the background is, the better it is for the chamber. And we recently, and luckily, our new board member, her name is Mihaela Coprean. She is the business development director of one of the developers in Hollywood, Miami area. And she has a good background in marketing, and she accepted our invitation to be part of the board. And she's our newest member, so we're very excited for that. And with her help, we're gonna work on a new platform that's gonna be very specific for Florida, for the chamber, and what our value proposition would be for the next year, both for the Romanian companies that want to be part of the chamber, but for the US companies as well, and what our value proposition is to them, and how we can work with them to bring more value to them, and also increase our membership as the chamber, and of course the visibility, and hopefully more events, and more hands to help, including with our organization, with the board. And as I said, at the end of the day, it's all about people, and we need people that really can dedicate as little as as what they can, really, in terms of time, because time, we all know, is of the essence, and we all know that everybody has their own daily jobs, so it's tricky.
Sure, for sure. Time is important, so people need to make sure they can contribute to the chamber properly as well.
Yes, yes.
So I know we're running out of time. I have one more question. I know that some chambers are related to the government that they represent. Is the Romanian Chamber of Commerce here in Miami part of the government of Romania, or is there a separate? How does that relationship look like?
So the Romanian-American Chamber of Commerce, all the national organization, but also the Florida chapter, we are not related with the Romanian government. We do maintain a relationship, and we have a good relationship with the General Consulate of Romania in Miami, and we also have a good relationship with the Romanian Embassy in Washington, D.C. in the United States. Specifically, we have the relationship with the Ministry of Economics or Trade Development, how you would call it, that is an office within the Romanian Embassy in Washington, D.C., and we have a relationship with them, and we are supported by them. And supported, I don't mean financially, so we don't not to be understood as we have any relationship besides a professional relationship. And I'm not finding my words exactly, but it's not part, we are not part of the government.
Got it. What would be the best way to communicate for anyone interested in coming from Romania or from here going to Romania? What would be the good way to communicate with the chamber?
So you can find the chamber has a website where all the chapters are listed. The website is www.racc.ro, and there you find information about the chapters and the memberships and every other information you have also to contact the chapters. Now, because we are in the planning of developing our own, as the Florida chapter, our own platform for contacting and just to provide our own, have our own website. This is not going to happen until next year. So we are working with the national chapters. If you want to contact us, you can go to the racc.ro, and you can find our contact information, not only for Florida, but you can find for any other chapter you might want to reach out to if you have. So if you have business or you need contact in Los Angeles, you'll have the president there and the chapter there and the board members there, and you have their contact information. Or if you want Washington, D.C., because you're in Washington, D.C. So all the data is on the website, including memberships, and everything is on the racc.ro website.
Great. Great. I'll definitely put that in the show notes. So if you guys are interested, you can check the show notes. And yeah, thank you so much, Anda, for joining us and for telling us about what you do and with the chamber and how it can benefit businesses and improve trade. So thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, Alejandro. Thank you for inviting me. It's awesome. Your project is awesome. You know, from me, I said it to you before, I think what you're doing is fantastic. I think it's very helpful for all the businesses locally, and also those businesses and entrepreneurs that are thinking of coming to Miami or to South Florida and really doing business here. I think it's so wonderful. Your platform and your idea and everything that you do for the international community, and also Miami and South Florida. It's just super fantastic. Thumbs up.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.